Shooters, it's your boy, got a CEO. So we back here on July 14th with another morning market brief. Let me turn on this CNBC. I'm gonna keep it in the background though. So yeah, we're here with another morning market brief. Let me get our control panel set up. My bad. It was already up. I don't know what happened to it. There we go. Alright. So we got the SPY up on the screen right now. Market just opened. We jumped in just as the market was opening. So let's see how things are looking at open. Let's go down to our 15 now. Apple started down. Like they closing that gap. We'll go look at the Qs because the Qs have been at some interesting points. So we may see some movement out of the major indices this week. We got the CPI tomorrow, and then the Fed is gonna be giving us a little bit more insight on where they're going with interest rates. Yeah, so our fear greed index is at 76. We've been at that same 75, 76 for a while now. Yeah, about a week ago we was at 75. Previous close 75. We at 76. We've been right here in this range for about a week or so now. So yeah, the market just floating, coasting right now. Tomorrow we got CPI data, and then we got PPI on Wednesday. We got retail sales on Thursday, and then the regular initial jobless claims, which we get those every week. Retail sales data, that might be a little bit different this month because we've had some shopping pickup over the summer. So I think retail sales data is gonna come in better than expected, and that's probably gonna be good in the retail sector. And probably if it comes in better than expected, the retail sector is gonna get a nice pop. Those stocks like Walmart, Target, TJ Maxx, TJX, ticker symbol. Yeah, we'll see all of these get a nice pop to the upside. This is on the daily. It's been in the range here since early May, end of April, beginning of May. It's been in this range here on Walmart. I think majority of the retail sector's been like that, been quiet and down. But it may be time for them to start rounding up soon. Especially if we get another pullback right here on Target. I wouldn't mind getting in one of those going into retail sales. So let's watch those over the next few days, because retail sales data is on Thursday, so we can watch that retail sector. I think I actually got a list for retail. Yeah, with Dollar General, they rounding up. Dollar Tree, they already done made a move to dollar stores. You got Lulu, look like they got bullish divergence on the weekly. Yeah, Lulu might be getting ready to take off. Slight bullish divergence on Lulu, but I like it. I think they'll get some nice momentum to the upside soon on Lulu. Crowd shouldn't be in here. Let's see, Amazon. Amazon is probably gonna keep gradually pushing all the way back to these all-time highs, just because they got such a good business model, and they kind of leading that sector. Retail, they got retail on lock right now. It's so convenient. It make more sense to order on Amazon and get your stuff within a day than going to the store. So as retail picks up, Amazon gonna continue to go with it. I think they'll go back to retail's highs. Typically, when they get on a run like that, that's what they do. They go retest highs. They broke here, retested, and continue higher. This is on the weekly too. The daily, put it in a different aspect. Yeah, I think we'll continue higher here and creep up to these highs around the 240, high 230s, low 240. We'll creep up to that area. All right, so let's look at what we got on our market overview. Let's see. That's the watch list. I'm gonna start posting the watch list in the Discord. I'm probably gonna create its own section for that, and I may post a link for the watch list in the Telegram so that you can just go over to the Discord to check it out and see what's on there for the day. That may become its own tier within the group. If someone just wants to watch list every day, they don't want to be a part of the actual group chat with Telegram. Me and Drake thinking about making that an option. Actually, I don't think I spoke to Drake about that this morning, but I thought about that over the weekend. But I'm gonna speak with Drake on that and see about making that an option as a tier for just the call outs, the stock picks, and we'll see how that plays out. That's gonna be a certain section or segment within this show where we do our watch list, and we probably put a few of them on there, and the rest you can get, if you're in that tier or you're in the group. Start to watch. Okay, so a top story is the tariff deal, the escalation on tariffs. Trump did 30% on Mexico and the European Union, and he's still threatening more tariffs on other companies that fail to make a deal with the U.S. I think we're gonna be okay, but as these continue to roll out, it's gonna affect the market, and it don't help that we at all-time highs on the market and as a whole, and a lot of the stocks. We up too high on a lot of stocks, so it's time to cool off a little bit. The next story is the Indian markets are under pressure, which nobody really plays or trades futures heavily in the group. I'm dibbling and dabbling with them a little bit, but this would be an opportunity to look at some futures in some other markets, in the global markets, and then we got corporate earnings coming up this week, bank earnings. So we're going to get a lot of insight on the overall outlook of the economy, because that's what the banks do. They look at the economy and tell us what is happening, what they see going on with money, investing, borrowing, all that stuff. So we're going to get a lot of insight on that this week, and this should give us a more clear sight of what's to come in the coming months. I believe we're gonna coast through July, and then when we get to the end, we may start getting real rocky and start seeing some pullbacks, because at the end of the month, we're gonna get those tech earnings. We will see a few giants get their head chopped off in those tech earnings, only because we at all-time highs, and their expectations are extremely high. So it's hard to hit those marks when you get to those points in it's hard to hit those marks when you get to that point in your stock price and your evaluation. Now, and your valuation, your value so high that you have to keep meeting these high marks, and when you don't, you come falling down. So we got I want to say Nvidia's definitely coming. No, Nvidia just had theirs. May. Google. I know Google's coming up on earnings July 29. You got Apple coming up on earnings July 31. And then you got Amazon coming up on earnings July 31. So, yeah, right at the end of July, we'll start getting those tech earnings. I think we just going to coast right on into those. Amazon might coast into those and then pop for earnings. Let's see. We'll see how those play out. See if we can find us some good positions to get into. Tech and crypto. We were just talking about tech. Nvidia surged to a $4 trillion market cap. Bitcoin has continued to make higher highs, all-time highs, after touching that 113 mark, and we're up there. We got up to 123 today. Yeah, we came out of this flag and went crazy. I had us coming out maybe one more time, but we should have just traded it from here. That would have been a nice move. And it could have been in the futures, Bitcoin futures. So, yeah, that was a good opportunity. Last things are, yeah, that's really it for our overview on the market, our top stories on the market, and just to put a few of our picks on our watch list out there at what we're gonna be looking at. We got Nvidia. Let's see, we'll give you Nvidia. This is one on our watch list. Nvidia is down 180 today. I see Nvidia cooling off in the near term. That was a good opportunity to catch some puts on Nvidia outside of the bands up here on Friday. Puts would have been nice to hold through the weekend, and you would have been eating right now. Coming down from 167 to $5 move to the downside. That's not bad. You'd have been eating off of those. Meta and Microsoft. So we'll do Nvidia, Meta, Microsoft. Now we got a total of 10 on our watch list that's going to be in the group, but I'm gonna give you guys 3 of them on the live. Meta, I can see Meta continuing higher from here to retest all-time highs. Look like we getting a double bottom, somewhat forming here, and then, to be honest, that's all matching up. It's starting to match up across the board within tech. Stocks cooling off, and then looking like they want to go retest all-time highs. Now, once we get up here, I can't tell you where we're going. If we get to these highs again, I can't tell you where we're going from there. Now that may give us this bull flag pattern, which that could be forming up here. Now that I'm looking back a little bit, we could get one of these on Meta. It's like we just got on like the same thing we just got on Bitcoin, this bull flag. It look like that's what we're getting on Meta. This is not a bad position to get in once we get down here to the bottom band, or we can start scaling in now. That wouldn't be a bad opportunity, but I think this week we're gonna get some volatility, so it's likely that we could come back here before rounding up. It's also forming like this wedge pattern, so we might have something on Meta soon. We might be able to see some price action, some serious price action on Meta soon. Let me finish putting out this wedge, potential wedge. So yeah, just a few possible outcomes on Meta. We could see a bull flag type movement, or we could see this falling wedge, or we break, retest, and then continue higher. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be watching Meta, Nvidia, and what else? Microsoft. Is Microsoft at all-time highs? Yeah, we flying on Microsoft right now. Might not be the best time to get into Microsoft. I would play this to the downside. Yeah, I would trade Microsoft to the downside. I don't see it maintaining that trajectory. We've been flying on Microsoft since probably late April, beginning of April. Nah, I was right. Late April we made a double bottom, and then we've been going ever since. Coming up from 355. Yeah, you up like $150, almost 50%. That's that's a nice move with a major gap down here from the last earnings. This may be one that gets his head trimmed, and we may come back to these highs here on earnings. I'm saying that's a possibility. We can come back to retest these highs, the previous highs. Actually, the previous highs was here from July 24th. The most recent high, probably about right here. We'll see how that plays out, though. I like Microsoft to come down during this earnings season. What exactly is their earnings? On the 30th. So it's that same week, that last week of July, where we're going to get all the tech earnings before going into August. And going into August, that's kind of like an investor summer. A lot of liquidity and money comes out of the market. So we'll see the volatility go way down. We'll see stocks just gradually falling throughout August. That's typically what happens. So where we at? We might have something bigger on Microsoft as well. Yeah, we may be seeing something like this here. That's probably a third touch on weekly, looking nice. Yeah, I think we probably can expect Microsoft to cool off soon, which is properly aligning with a lot of the other tech stocks as we go into earnings season. So we'll see how that plays out. That's our market overview. Our top stocks to watch. We looked at our Fear Greed Index, and we looked at a few retail stocks based on the retail sales data that we're gonna be getting later on this week. We'll make some trades, or make some. We may make some trades on that. We're definitely gonna be watching those stocks, and we'll see what we can find. I think they are in Tesla this morning. I don't know if they played it, but they definitely watching it. I seen them say something about that. Let me get that put back. Let's go to Tesla on like an hourly. Okay, so Tesla broke above its 200 MA. Yeah, we could have held Tesla a little longer from the positions we had last week. That would have been nice. We did make some money in other positions. But this would have been a nice move. We had two positions in Tesla. We made money on it. This would have been quite a bit more. I think we may cool off on Tesla soon too, though. That's why I kind of didn't want to hold those too long, because I didn't want to get caught in that pullback. But I don't think we're going straight up on Tesla right now. I think it's too early. And again, we could go ahead and continue higher to that 350 area. Now that we back above the 200 MA. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see y'all in the group chat and in the Discord. Remember to manage your risk, trade safe, and stay active, shooters.